Hey everybody, it is Sunday evening and it's been a long time since I've done a Around the World update, but I really don't feel like I've got a lot to talk about if we were to go around the world and look at all my tanks. So we are going to do sort of an abbreviated version of that. Again, it's Sunday evening, so I'm going to get everybody caught up to speed with what's been going on over the last week or so. I am in need of getting in here into my foot tank. I call it that simply because it sits at the foot of my waterfall. I need to get in there and clean out some of that duckweed. I topped off the tank with about 5 gallons of water the other day, so maybe getting in there and doing a little bit of a water change wouldn't be a bad idea. But whatever, just a little bit of maintenance ready to be done on that. And probably a little bit of maintenance ready to be done on just about everything in here. It's summertime. I've been spending a lot of time out of doors and just been kind of doing my thing, and that's why there's not really a lot going on here in the waterfall tank or anywhere else. I did put some new plants in here from Pretty Boy that I collected. You can see the anacris that's still attached to the bottom is doing well. A lot of it has been dislodged and has floated up. You can see a bunch of it sitting in here, but that's got new growth on it and roots starting to develop, so all I got to do is get it tucked back in and it'll be fine. The water milfoil is growing like crazy in here. I've also got all this sort of viney looking green stuff is Creeping Jenny. I grabbed that from out at the reservoir and brought that home and got that planted in here. And if you're wondering why everything looks funny, it's because I don't have my big LED turned on right here. I shot a video earlier, and when that LED is on, it is just so overpowering that it makes my camera do funny things, and it is hard to actually see me. So that gives you a little bit better look at what it looks like when it's fully lit up. So speaking of shooting videos, that's where I sat on my special video shooting bucket. And tonight I actually put my lapel mic on, trying to improve the quality of my videos a little bit, and I think just using a microphone would probably help a lot, especially when I got this splashy waterfall going on right in front of us. So I put on my lapel mic. The video did indeed sound a lot better, at least I thought it sounded a lot better, and so what I did was ordered a wireless lapel mic so I can actually wear that in all my videos. The wire on my lapel mic is only about 5 feet long, and I've got to sit sort of right in front of the camera to do it, so hopefully with that wireless lapel mic I'll be able to do all my videos while having much better sound quality, so we can look forward to that. In fact, let me get my special video shooting ring light turned off. 29, nothing really going on, but definitely ready for a water change. I'm not going to worry about turning the waterfall tank off. I know it's just going to be some glare on the video, but again, this is going to be a brief one. You can see I need to get in there and do some maintenance. The glass has got some growth on it. Water level's getting low, and as per usual, the water is backflowing over the filter, so this will be the next tank I get in here probably this evening. A little bit later I'll get in here after dinner and start working on that one. My gourami tank is doing okay. I did a water change on it recently, but I did not do any work on the filter, and so next time I get in there, actually it hasn't been that long since I've done work on the filter, so I don't think we have too much to worry about with my gourami tank here for a little while anyway. And likewise, the water milfoil that I put in this tank has grown all the way up to the top and is now already at the surface. Excuse me. Nothing really to speak of going on in my 55-gallon tank. Again, I mentioned how I planted some of that water milfoil in here. I'm sorry, some of the anacris in here. Some of it still stayed where I tucked it, and then some of it has come loose and gotten caught up in my Anubias, and that's still just kind of sitting there hanging out. And there's a pretty good look at my pleco. Doesn't usually sit out like this when I'm in the room walking around talking and stuff. And these designations are 1 inch apart, so if you ever happen to see fish lying there like that and you want to measure, these are inches. Nothing really going on in my 40 breeder here. We talked about this one the other day. I've been cutting back on how much algae wafers I put in there, and as a result you can see the algae eating fish, the rubber lip plecos I have in here, are scraping everything and starting to get everything cleaned up. This tank really needs some maintenance too. I really need to get in there and get that filter cleaned up. It's been a while since I've worked on the filter, and I can tell the flow isn't quite right. It's getting kind of slow, so I need to do that, and one of these days I'm going to need to get in there and trim those plants up. But I talk about that every time we look at this tank, and it never gets done, so don't hold your breath on that one. 125 gallon New World tank. This tank definitely needs some maintenance. The water is getting downright tea stained. I have topped it off a couple times, being the open top tank, and then having that huge massive plants growing up out of the top of it is basically just wicking the water right out of the top. So this is one that I lose a lot to evaporation, and I have to top it off from time to time. But this one is probably my most heavily stocked. There's no probably about it. This one's definitely my most heavily stocked tank, and as a result it's got some, shall we say, nutrient rich water in there, and as such it grows a lot of algae and cyanobacteria. And this is one of my tanks that looks good and natural, but always also looks like it really needs some attention, and in this case I really think it does need some attention. The water is really tea stained. I mean, look at the I know there's glare on the tank, I'm sorry about all that, but if you can see that sort of brownish thing, that is my white suckerfish in the back. Look how brown golden color that looks. That gives you an idea of the tannin level in this tank. Now that would be for my regular viewers who are used to seeing this fish. And again, my golden shiners there only look golden in tannin stained water. When you put them in clear water, they actually look shiny and silvery. So we are going to try to stay away from this side of the room. I did have to replace my light bulb in my snail tank, but my purple spotted gudgeon is not doing well. It's getting really old, and it's kind of freaked out whenever I get close to it. I've got the lights turned out in the tank, and I'm just kind of standing back and letting it do its thing. It's probably not going to be around too much longer. It hasn't eaten in, I don't know, I've been putting food in the tank for the catfish, but that fish hasn't eaten in a couple of weeks, probably 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. So I haven't even bothered trying to feed it in the last week. So I don't know, we'll have to see, but I'm trying to kind of stay out of the room and stay away from him for the most part, because when he gets all excited and freaked out by me, he starts swimming in corkscrews and bashing into walls and swimming around in circles, and it's just kind of unpleasant to watch. So I'm kind of, as long as he just lays there and does his thing, I'm okay. But when he starts swimming around in corkscrews like that, it really makes me want to bust out the clove oil, and I hate doing that, so we're going to try to avoid that altogether. 125, surprise, needs some maintenance, just like pretty much everything else in here. The water's fine, it's just, you know, a lot of nutrients, highly brightly lit tank, lots and lots of light that I leave on for 12 hours a day, and not surprisingly, that means I've got some algae I need to wipe off my glass, and so on and so forth. But otherwise, everything else in the tank is fine. I just need to wipe the glass down and do a water change. Again, I probably ought to get in there and do some, you know, give it a haircut, get some of those plants out of there, but I don't know, I like it. It's just nice and green and lush and beautiful. Well, right now it's all reflective and glary, and you're seeing everything across the room, but you know how it is. 20-gallon angelfish tank, you know, could use a water change. Glass needs to be wiped down, that sort of thing. Not really anything worth talking about. I still don't have anything in my quarantine tank from last time I emptied that out. And then my brackish tank with my puffer here, Butterbean, my figure 8 puffer, is still doing well. I did a water change on this tank not too long ago. I really do need to get in there and clean out some more of the stuff. I always forget to get in there with the vac. All that stuff you can see on the back glass, these two clumps in particular, this one and then this big clump, is all loose, like sheets of cyanobacteria stuff that's just hanging off the glass, and just a gentle wipe with the siphon would just remove all of that immediately. It's just that every time I get in there and do a water change, I forget about it. I get all the stuff up off the bottom, but always forget about that back glass. It's not hurting anything, it just looks ugly. Same as these plants. These plants are fine, they just don't look very good because they got some of that brown diatom algae, the cyanobacteria, a little bit of dead leaf material, all that piled on top of each other. It makes for some funky looking Java fern, but getting anything to grow in brackish water is difficult anyway, so there you go. So that's about it. Like I said, not a lot going on in the fish room this week, but I did want to at least catch everybody up to date to some degree. And again, look forward to my new wireless lapel mic, and the quality of my videos might improve. I also am taking another tip, which is to use the real camera on my phone rather than the front-facing camera. And I always use the front-facing camera just so I've got a video monitor and I can actually see what's being videoed and so on and so forth. And it has been recommended not to use that camera, to actually use the better quality camera. And so I'm going to try doing both of those two simple things, and we'll see if that doesn't improve the quality of my videos a little bit. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to leave any comments down below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.